Mi papá immigrated from la belleza que es Medellín, Colombia, to Miami, Florida, all with one goal, pa' echar pa'lante la familia. And with that same spirit, I started the Que Hola podcast. It's all about sharing the journey creatives from the 305 and beyond have traveled, the W's, the L's, pitfalls, and lessons, all with a focus on first and second generation Latinos, pero para todos los creatives. Entonces, parce, Que Hola contigo. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you stream your podcast. I'm your host, D Fig. Oh, also, we're on YouTube. Listo.
Hey everyone, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is Season 5 of Pero Let Me Tell You. Americans are going to pay higher prices in heat this year.
Heat?
And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, not here. No, that's also why we almost left a crater in Brooklyn.
Well, what?
Why we almost left a crater in Brooklyn because we have no idea about heat.
Oh, you know that's a story worth mentioning.
That is a story worth mentioning.
So, with that said,
episode 222. Oh, like back in high school.
Isn't it 223 today?
No, it's episode 222.
Okay, 222.
Yeah.
All right. We're almost at 227.
Yes. That's going to be our all Jackee episode.
I saw the one you posted the other day. That was so funny. What can you live without? A man.
Oh, man.
What do you get tired of? An old man.
A young man. A rich man. Any man.
God bless Sandra Clark.
Oh, she's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's funny because now that you mentioned 227, I have it there on my on. If you go to my Fire TV or whatever, Fire Stick,
Amazon
on or whatever, like that it says recently viewed. 227 is on there, and I've been watching 227 on and off, like, you know, the background for like a few weeks now or like a few months. And it's funny because it's like I have all these like really good shows that I need to watch and catch up, and somehow I ended up watching 227 again.
I watch 227 almost every night because they play it on Pluto TV.
Yeah,
there's like a classic sitcom channel,
right?
And they'll play like 4 episodes back to back of 227, and you know what? I'm in.
Yeah. Who's your favorite in 227? I mean, obviously Jackee.
I mean, yeah. When we eliminate Jackee, I have to go with Pearl.
Pearl, yeah. Pearl has the best one-liners. Helen Martin.
You have to see her interview on Conan O'Brien.
I have seen it.
Oh my god, it's great.
Helen Martin was a national treasure.
Yeah, we didn't appreciate her.
Yeah, because I feel she's one of these people. So for those of you who are not, don't know who Helen Martin is, look her up, and when you see her, you'll know who she is.
Yeah.
Helen Martin was in a lot of, especially television in the 80s and 90s.
She was always the sassy old lady.
Yes,
yeah.
but she was great.
Yeah.
And in 227, I mean se la comió.
Yeah.
That was such a great little show.
It was until the last season.
Why? Oh, because they brought in this girl?
Which I found out she's actually the mother of Robert De Niro's kids.
Countess?
Oh, no, not Countess Vaughn. No, the blonde lady that she was like Jamaican, vaguely ethnic.
Yes.
She's Robert De Niro's baby mama.
Wow. What a small...
Because I was looking her up and I'm like, what else did this woman do after 227? And not much.
So before we continue, we just want to give our attention. It needs a lot of attention.
It feels wrong to say thoughts and prayers, but
I know, right? Thoughts and prayers. Yeah. But we want to send out some love and some good vibes to everybody in Puerto Rico, and also the Dominican Republic. Punta Cana got hit.
Yeah.
But Puerto Rico especially, I think as of today, 90% of the island was without power.
Puerto Rico.
And because it hit Puerto Rico worse than it hit.
Yeah, it hit first.
I think 1 or 2 of the bridges that they had built or rebuilt after Hurricane Maria went out.
Jeez.
And it's just awful that they're going through this again. Yeah. And it's like, man, I know it's Mother Nature, but and you can't obviously control these things, but our hearts go out to them, and it's really bad. And DR, as we know, also got hit. I was just there recently, and I think I said it in my episode back. I've had the fortune of being able to have traveled a lot. I've been all over the place, and I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever been to a place where people are just so genuinely affectionate and nice and wonderful and warm, like Los Dominicanos.
Yeah.
It was like it was so much that it was so noticeable. Right.
It was not like under the
because you know that
right.
when you're on vacation, you have a certain level of hospitality that people are going to be.
It goes unnoticed.
They're going to be nice to you. They're going to help you out and all that stuff. But in Punta Cana, like in Santo Domingo too, because I was there too. It was just at another level. Like again. Amazing. So our thoughts go out to,
and we'll post something on the Instagram,
our fellow Caribbean folk.
Yeah, we'll post something on the Instagram with like some organizations that you can reach out to if you're so inclined, or if you have some resources or money to spare.
So I actually have a question for you, because I feel that a lot of times
that always makes me cringe.
A lot of times in these pop culture things, you're a little bit more in detail than I am.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm not into the pop culture thing, but
you sometimes don't have time to be into the pop culture thing.
But I
That's
actually
the problem.
missed this one. Okay, because I see it here. But I was wondering about it anyway. What's happening with
Adam Levine?
Adam Levine.
See, I didn't even look at the screen. I knew that's what you were going to ask about.
And people are like sending like.
Okay.
Like, Adam Levine slid into my DM. Like, the first time I saw somebody posted on my timeline,
right.
I'm like, Adam Levine really? Because it had a blue check. And then I went to Adam Levine's Instagram.
Right,
and I'm
right.
like, it's the same
word. Right.
Right? So it's like, is this real? Like, I was like, this can't be real. Like,
that's great.
Okay, so what does that happen?
All right, so here's what happened.
Like, I really don't know.
So this week, this model, I think she's a model, or on TikTok, for reasons known only to her, took to TikTok, that's a tongue twister, took to TikTok to talk about how, like, years ago, she had apparently had, like, some type of an affair with Adam Levine.
Okay.
And they had, I guess, met via Instagram, because she was, she's probably an Insta model, and that what you're seeing is the allegedly, because we don't want to get sued, the alleged DMs that he sent her, which is where it says like, fuck girl, you're so hot, or whatever. So what people are doing is they're taking that, they're replacing her picture with like their picture, or a picture of a Cuban sandwich, or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, to make it, now that's the meme,
because she
that's
put
the
out
joke.
the screenshots.
Because according to her, I have no sympathy for her, because it's one of those stories where it's like, so she says that, okay, so, and she said the weirdest part about it is that she says that he reached out to her to ask if he could name one of his children after like her name, like use her name for one of his children's name.
Oh, okay, that's
okay,
fun.
Fine. So what happened was
Can't make this shit up.
I know, if I tried. Apparently she shared the screenshot with like her friends, and her friends said that they were going to go to the tabloids. So before they went to the tabloids, she felt that she had to break the story, and and she's not looking for sympathy, but she felt, I think she used the word manipulated, because when they were together, or when they had their affair, or when they hooked up, whatever the case may be or may not be, he was still married, but I was new to LA. I thought that's just, like maybe they were already getting divorced, but they were still married for like appearances. You know how celebrities can be. Like, she gave this whole spiel where I'm like, okay.
Did you ever actually meet her?
Well, she says that they did. He says that they didn't. So that's why the whole allegedly thing, because, he's saying no, she's saying it happened. I don't care unless you just arrived to LA from another solar system. If anybody's telling you they're married, don't go in and then pretend you're the victim. Okay? Because you know what?
How old is she?
I mean, I don't know how old she was at the time that it happened, but I mean, she's probably like in her 20s or 30s. I mean, she's not...
Okay, so she's not like 18.
She's not like 18. I mean, yeah. It's not like she literally just, came off the turnip truck, right?
Right.
And I'm actually looking it up now that you said it. Just to get that information. So, okay, so actually, yeah, so he's denied the affair, obviously.
I read somewhere that he admitted that he said
he admitted that he sent her the DMs.
Right, that he said that there was a line that was crossed.
Right.
But he said that he denied having an affair.
Correct. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if it says anything about her age at the time. But regardless, she wasn't 10. She was a legal adult. A married man's a married man is a married man. A married woman's a married woman is a married woman. If you're going into it knowing that, you can't come back later and be like...
And also, Adam Levine has a very public relationship. I mean, he's married to a Victoria's Secret model.
Right. You know what? You could have very easily... You could have shared... Here's the thing. Okay, there's multiple layers to this as far as I'm concerned. Number one, those aren't your real friends. Because if I was to share something like that with you, I know you would take it to the grave.
Yeah.
Like I know for a fact you would not turn around and be like, "Well, I'm going to the Inquirer or TMZ," right? So
and
that's number one.
I also think she made it worse by doing that.
Right. So number one, you need new friends. They're not friends. Number two, you could have let them go. Just let them go to it, and then when everybody comes and says, "Oh," you'd be like, "No comment," and that's it. It would die. The fact that you went on TikTok to create a TikTok video about this. To me, that's not, I'm trying to get ahead of this. To me, that's, I want my 15 minutes and I want them now.
She's going to be on Dancing with the Stars next.
Oh, no, next season, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But then that's another thing is like, okay, why, here's the other thing. What do you think is going to happen, sweetheart? Do you think somebody's going to be like, you know what, get me Levine's mistress. We want her on the cover of Vogue.
You know what, though? No. You never know nowadays.
Right, but what I mean is, like, when in the history of mistresses has that ever happened?
Well,
generally.
Camilla is queen.
That's true, and Marla was the second wife. So you know what? So fair enough. Fine. It could happen. Okay, but those are two instances.
Give me a few more minutes.
Those are two, damn it.
Listen, Marla
Fine,
Maples,
Brad and Angelina.
Marla Maples was one bride away from being first lady.
That's true.
And Camilla waited patiently.
Talk about biding your time.
And got the grand prize.
Listen, she grabbed that brass ring with both hands, babe, and it came with a crown.
Aye.
But it's just, and again, it's one of those things where it's like, look, is that douchebag behavior?
Okay,
sure.
But
why do we care?
Why do we care? Yeah, like
as people who are discussing it on the
what's the bit like? Okay, so what? Like that's between him and his wife.
Right.
Let them deal with it.
Right.
Like okay, yeah.
And again, I don't even understand with this girl, this lady. And again, I'm trying to find like that little vuelta where I'm like,
because at first
if she was pregnant and she was trying to force him to acknowledge the kid, I'd be like, you know what?
No, it's a different.
That's a different story. Now right. I see where this is coming from,
story.
or or what have you. But because you had a tryst.
I don't know too much. Oh, excuse me. I don't know too much about it, so that's why I asked. I had just seen some headlines, and again, I saw somebody.
Meme.
I didn't realize it was a meme,
yeah.
and I was like, "Did this?"
I was actually trying to figure out how to do one for us.
It's like, did this person really have like these conversations? You know why?
Like me in a Lechong Life shirt.
You know why? No. You know why? This is really funny. This is what I was thinking. God. Okay, I know it sounds really far-fetched that somebody like Adam Levine would be DMing you, but then again, I was buddy-buddy via text with Mike Posner.
Oh, also...
Mike and I didn't cross the line.
No. Let's take it a step further. What was your initial reaction when the security guard was giving us a hard time about getting into Fuller House? What did you tell me?
What?
Show him your DMs. With Juan Pablo.
Yes.
And they were completely innocent DMs, but it was, but
yes.
I
was like, show him your DMs. Yes.
And I was like, this man's gonna think that I'm trading dick pics with this guy. Like,
you know, it's so funny that Mike. Okay, so listeners, Mike Posner, I took a pill and a visa guy. So I was really into him in like 2016. He had an album that whatever. It was like
it spoke to you.
It spoke to me. It like perfectly. Yes, I said what I felt at that time and whatever. And Mike Posner said he had in like his Instagram and like kind of hidden in the comment section, he had his phone number and
his real phone number, not like the phone number that J-Lo sends me texts.
And I texted him and he responded. And to me, yes, I could never confirm it was him on the other end, but it sounded real, and I was like,
they weren't like automated texts,
right? I was texting him back and forth for a while. Yes, they weren't automated because I would text him, and then he would get back to me. He'd be like, "Yo, sorry, bro, that I took so long." But it's so funny because the other day he was on Y100 on the Morning Zoo, and they were interviewing him, and I was taking Tristan to school, and I was telling Tristan, you know that Mike and I a couple of years ago were texting each other back and forth.
It's my buddy Mike.
So I thought, if Mike and I were texting,
Why
Mike and I
not?
didn't cross the line.
No, there were no lines crossed between you and Mike. No pills were taken in Ibiza.
No. Maybe Adam Levine did have.
Yeah, I mean, and if she's a model, I'm sure she's. I don't recall what the girl looks like, but she's attractive. Listen, if you're married to a Victoria's Secret model and you're gonna cheat, like the woman you're cheating with has to be at least attractive.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? That goes to show. I mean, it's not something that we don't know. I mean, of course, everybody knows this, but that goes to show that means nothing. Because look, do you want I know she's not your cup of tea, but do you want like a hotter, like more beautiful person than like Beyonce? And he was unfaithful to her, and it just came out that he was unfaithful to her more than one time. And
it's something like I made.
I mean, I know that looks are and everything, but if you're basing it only on like the
and also, you never know what couples have arrangements.
Right, but that's a whole conversation.
No. But I'm saying, listen. I mean, let's go the Jada Will route, right? Where they basically have said, like, you know what? Listen, we talk to each other, we tell each other what's going on, and we move on. Like, you don't know what. I
don't want to talk about them on our show. Let's move on. Oh my God! When you walked in today here, to my house, well, our studio.
Yes.
¿Tuviste la alfombra que tengo en la sala tira?
Yes. Are you going to be giving carpet rides? Because that thing looked like you took it off of that magic carpet ride at Disney World and brought it.
Jasmine is coming.
Jasmine is coming. Yes.
So I have this thing with my parents. Oh, here we go. I have this thing with my parents. So my sister-in-law, and my brother have a really big house. And, she loves decorating the house and changing it up and stuff like that. She's like the queen of Wayfair.
No, digas eso, que then people are going to think she's like doing child trafficking.
Oh my God. No, she doesn't do child trafficking, people. Anyway, she's, always changing the house up and whatever. And as such, she gets rid of a lot of things. My parents, my room at my parents' house has become a repository for all the things that my sister-in-law has taken. Un espejo, una mata de orquídea, fake orchid plant, cojines.
So your room is like the ghosts of Borges decor past.
Yes. And my parents are like, no, porque eso está buenísimo. And I'm like, what are you going to do with it? Right? Eso está nuevo. And I'm like, what are you going to do with it? But
that's immigrant mentality.
So yesterday or the day before, I'm speaking to my parents, and they're like, no, porque Amarili tenía una alfombra buenísima, lindísima, nueva de paquete.
Anytime that they have to use that many isimas or isimos.
Y está buenísima. Y es para afuera, para la terraza. Tú sabes que eso luciera de lo más bonito en tu terraza.
Una alfombra, pero that's...
Well, because it's an indoor-outdoor.
Oh, okay.
But those outdoor, carpets... Mm-hmm. They're outdoor but covered.
Right. If
they could get wet.
Pero si tienes un portal.
Right. If it's covered, una terraza.
Right.
They could get wet one day, and it's not a big deal. But you can't leave them out in the elements every single day. And I don't really have a covered backyard. And whatever. Y ayer se aparecen con la alfombra. Like, they get here, and I was still coming downstairs, and I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, la alfombra que está buenísima. And I'm like, but I never told you to bring it. No, pero es que nosotros te dijimos que la alfombra estaba buenísima y nueva y tú no dijiste nada. And I'm like, I didn't realize that you were selling me the carpet. That this was like you telling me about the carpet and you told me about the carpet.
Right.
I didn't say anything.
You really didn't give me an option.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So in order for me to not receive the carpet, I had to outright explicitly deny the offer. Like, whatever. And it's so funny because my parents do that.
What did you wind up doing with the beanbag that they brought?
That beanbag that looked...
Because that was a beanbag, but that was like a small continent.
Yes, it was. And it's so funny because when my parents brought it, Tristan loved it. And
it was comfortable. I mean,
it was. And I was like, fuck, that thing is so ugly. I was like, it's so ugly. But
it's big. It was ugly and small.
But that was when I was sort of like reconstructing the house during...
So one more thing.
During the mold issue I had. Yeah. So I'm like, well, the whole house is fucked up. So what do I care that I have, a beanbag chair the size of Antarctica?
The beanbag es lo de menos.
Yeah, whatever. But that thing already went out.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it, yes.
But my parents do that all the time. Like, people give away stuff that is like in good condition. No, porque eso está nuevo, esto está buenísimo. And I'm like, what are you going to do with it?
Okay. You know what you need to tell them to start doing?
Listeners, do your parents do this?
You need to tell them that instead of dropping it off here, that they need to go to Daisy's house and drop it off there. Because our friend Daisy's mother, I don't know about now, but she was queen of the garage sales.
Yeah. But it's true. But it is true that Cubans or Latin people, we're not good at garage sales. Hence, there's a whole episode of Que Pasa USA on it. If there's an episode of Que Pasa USA on it,
there's a reason.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
Right?
You know, I didn't ask Luis Santero about that one, but...
Right. You didn't ask him about that episode?
Darian, there was a lot to ask about.
That's my favorite episode. The garage sale is my favorite episode. Sí, queremos ver el garaje que está en venta. ¿Qué garaje está en venta si yo parqueo en el driveway? That's my favorite episode of Que Pasa USA. But yeah, they cualquier traste que la gente están.
But I think a part of it is, like I said, it's that immigrant mentality of, you know, when you first arrive, you don't have much. And you've had to give up so much of what you had before, however little it may have been. That now you see the utilitarian in everything, and that's still good, that's still useful, that can still be salvaged. You know, it's because you never know when things are going to take a turn, and you can't just, you know, throw things away. And it's
You know what?
I have a little bit of that in me. To this day, like, I find it hard to throw away like Tupperwares, and I don't even mean real Tupperwares.
Are you talking about the Tupperware that has like the pasta stain, the tomato sauce stain?
That I'm talking about, like, after I'm done with, like, you know, a container that has, like, you know, deli meats or whatever.
Yes.
Like, I will keep the container because that's still usable.
Oh my god! You know what was bad?
I mean,
like when I had like,
it's inherited.
When I was like really into the gym that had the meal plan.
Oh,
that
that
they
you
would
would
bring you the food.
Yeah.
In like that Tupperware. I would like keep it, and I'm like, but they keep bringing me new Tupperware. Why am I keeping all this Tupperware?
We are hardwired to not get rid of things because we grew up with those stories. You know, in my case, the stories. In your case, you know, you probably experienced it.
Yeah, that's like my parents. This happened a couple of years ago. My parents at their house, which growing up, this was always the case. My mom had her fine china from J. Byron's.
I bet that we've
never ever eaten it,
and you never will.
We've never eaten it. Eso está. She still has some of the original packaging of, like, you know, the gravy boat. No Cuban uses a gravy boat.
No, not really.
Not really.
You should ask her to borrow it for this year's Christmas dinner.
Oh my god, I should.
Especially because it's gonna probably be in casa de Marcy, and they're like down the street.
I should. This is my mom's fine china from J. Byron's. From J. Byron.
Jackson Byron.
Anyway, but aside from the fine china,
yes,
that now is vintage, by the way.
It's true. I'd be scared to use it.
They've always had like miscellaneous pots and pans. Nothing matches. Un plato por aquí, otro plato por acá. Nothing matches. All the mugs, like, nothing matches. It's like...
Does it not match because they were sets and everything's been breaking?
I don't know how they ended up con todos esos platos, but we've had the same platos for, like, you know, 40 years. And a couple of years ago, my sister-in-law was like, you know what? Hasta hoy se acabó. She went to Macy's and she bought them.
I've done that.
Like a box of 10 plates with 10 salad plates, 10 mugs, and whatever. She brought them to the house. They're there.
They're staying in the box still.
No, they're in the cabinet. They don't use them.
Porque esos son para visita.
No, porque eso está muy bonito. No. So they have the fine china that's not used. Then they have the everyday, because she bought them like a regular
like a table
pair
setting,
of everyday plates.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy. No, pero esos platos están muy bonito. So now they have the fine china they don't
and
use.
They have everyday plates they don't use.
Everyday, it's kind of like Monica, guest, fancy guest.
Yeah,
you know. Estos tampoco no se usan. The everyday ones no se usan, so we still use the old ones that are even, some of them are even chipped, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah, but
if they had a design on it, it's not there anymore.
That is a Latin thing for sure. Just like, you know, we've been ahead in recycling for years because we don't throw away plastic bags.
That is true. We started the trend, my dear.
We did.
We did.
Really, really did. We've been doing that. I mean, I've been doing that since I can remember.
Since I have recollection of life.
I mean, if you really come to think about it, Latins have been in the forefront of upcycling.
Also very true, particularly Cubans.
Yes. Okay.
As we know.
So Keebler cans.
Oh, that's true.
La galletita de Keebler, the green cans.
Our favorite.
Se pone arroz.
Our favorite.
Of course.
The Royal Dansk.
The Royal Dansk is a sewing kit.
That's true.
Right? Yeah, that's such a accepted and kind of normalized.
It's almost like I should be able to go to Joanne Fabrics and buy that as a container for sewing.
I think you're right.
Like at this point, I should, or they should just sell Royal Dansk cookies at Joanne Fabric.
No, I think they should sell the Royal Dansk sewing
container.
kit.
Just a container.
No, they should sell the Royal Dansk sewing kit. Have the Royal Dansk cans.
But inside, it's just like
The sewing kit. La tijera, el hilo, los alfileres.
the pincushion.
El tomatico, the thimble. All
of
shit
it.
you have to put it. It comes a sewing. Instead of putting it in a generic little bag, you have a Royal Dansk sewing kit.
For the record, kids, we just came up with this idea.
Yes.
We need to figure out how to make this shit happen. We need to go talk to Martha.
We need to talk to Martha.
We need to talk to Martha because this is a Martha. This is going to require more than what we can do.
Yes. So for your abuela for Mother's Day or Christmas,
Right.
you give her a Royal Dansk sewing kit. And you make it cute,
That'd be awesome.
right? So we were the kings of and queens of upcycling.
That's true.
So then like obviamente the plastic bags from whatever
bueno,
supermarket Sedano you use for everything.
Especially during mango season.
Yes.
And aguacate season.
And then of course there's the Country Crock.
That's true, which is really only for frijole.
Yes. Why is it only for frijole? You're absolutely right. They never put arroz or carne in it. It's frijole.
Sometimes carne con papa.
Yes, but usually it's a stewy.
It has to be something with like a
Stewy.
liquid. Yes.
You never see them put in there, for a cocktail de fruta.
And you want to hear. I know you're going to agree with me. I've never seen a Country Crock container come into the house as butter.
Oh no.
I've never seen the butter.
Right.
I only see,
And it's a lot of butter.
Right. I only see the secondhand usage.
Or margarine.
Right.
You know that Country Crock has been through hell when it starts fading around in the outside. It's like, man, that Country Crock has been through the ringer.
Yeah, it's seen things.
Do white people do that? No, white people don't. That's
why white people have Tupperware parties.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Let me tell you.
White people have Tupperware parties. That's
So
why.
I'll never forget.
They don't do
I'll
that.
never forget when I was in 5th grade in Cypress Elementary School. 5th grade. I remember that our school trip. It was always to Washington, D.C., but ours was not to Washington, D.C., because since we were the year that 5th grade ended and went to middle school, 6th grade went to middle school, we got screwed. So we ended up going to Disney World. So our fundraiser, right, was to sell Tupperware. And they gave us like the booklets and all that, so we could take it to our parents, and our parents can host a Tupperware party. I remember thinking, what is Tupperware? I had never heard of Tupperware.
I need to find someone with a time machine to go back in time and somehow convince your mother to throw this party.
The Tupperware party?
Yes.
But I remember thinking, like, what is Tupperware? And why is everybody so excited about the Tupperware
Why do we have a
party
party for it? Yeah, why do we have parties for it?
Para los plásticos, para poner la comida vieja. Like, we don't buy Tupperware for that shit.
First of all, we don't buy Tupperware. Second of all, we're not that excited about it.
My parents have ever bought Tupperware of any sorts. What they have there, I'm not sure how they've gotten it throughout the years.
Oh, it's like a key party.
Do they even sell the Tupperware brand anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go online and
right,
buy
but
it.
it's expensive.
It is expensive. Yeah, that's why you go to like Dollar Tree and get get like the Rubbermaid ones that are 3 for $1.25. Fuck that. Yeah.
But I remember we had a Tupperware. I'm like, whoa, Tupperware party.
Yeah, you're supposed to burp it. I don't know.
Needless to say, I was not part of this fundraiser.
You did not help that fundraiser. No. They should have just sold the chocolate.
That's like, I remember in elementary school, and for our listeners who went to, I went to Cypress Elementary, but I'm sure a lot of schools did this. We used to sell Sally Henson gift wrapping paper.
Yes, we did too.
Right. And I remember that everybody, my family would be like, "Eso está tan caro," because it was like expensive.
It was. And it was only for 3 feet of wrapping paper, $25. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you people?
Like white people wrapping paper. It's like, we don't buy that. We buy it at Navarro or Sedano Pharmacy discount.
Queso parece un bate. And then for like $3. It's almost see-through, but it gets the job done. Y acabas con todos los regalos.
During Christmas, did you have, because I feel that this is also a very Latin thing, Did you have multiple assorted gift wrapping papers? Because we didn't. You could tell when my parents ran out of gift wrapping paper.
No. My parents would buy like.
Oh no! Everything was the same snowman. Like
yeah. Like we had the same. Yeah, it was the same.
Right. Because I feel like the people that put this effort into like the different assorted gift wrapping paper, that's like not immigrant shit. That's
no. My sister does that now for the boys because actually for her it's more about the sanity of Christmas morning. She's like, each one gets their own type of wrapping paper, and that way. You're Star Wars, you're G.I. Joe, and you're,
so she
whatever.
Has like a little legend.
Well, luckily, it's only 3 of them, so it's easy to keep tabs.
But yeah, that Country Crock.
It's never been butter. It's never gotten.
I can't believe it's not Country Crock.
It never has been. It never arrives at the house as its intended product.
No.
Prove us wrong, listeners.
And you know which?
Prove us wrong.
And in more modern times,
send us pictures of in your house a Country Crock that has butter in it.
In more modern times, I've seen what is it, Talenti? The Talenti gelato.
Okay,
that they sell in Publix.
Yeah. That's a little like screw cap.
Yes. I've seen that being used, for like, and I'm like, what a horrible downgrade from going from a delicious gelato to going to like Canto Gallego, or
also no, that's too small.
Yeah, no, because it's more for like a serving, It's not when you want to feed the whole family. It's
now,
like,
wait a minute. Are we talking about the suggested serving or a Cuban serving?
No, mira, hice lenteja, mira, coge lenteja. And then, you take, not to feed the whole family.
And the thing is that it's that whenever you make like lentejas or frijoles or whatever, you can't make a little bit. Yeah. So you wind up having like this caldero.
Yeah, the king of it. Mira, también, you know what else we were very, very frugal in? And green. We were green. We were green. Cuando el champú se estaba acabando. You would
put water in it
and shake it and be like, oh.
You could get at least 3 more out of that.
That Pert Plus was Pert Plus Plus. Dude, that was such a 90s and 80s shampoo. Pert Plus and Finesse.
Oh.
People don't use Finesse anymore.
No.
What did your hair in the 80s
The last person
like?
to use Finesse was Bruno Mars.
Finesse, Pert Plus, and Agree.
Wow.
Salon Selectives by Helene Curtis.
Salon Selectives.
Yes.
Ay, ¿cuál era el champú de los orgasmos?
Oh, that's
Herbal Essence.
Herbal Essence. No, but that's still around.
That's still around?
Yeah, that's still around, and they have like 2 versions. They have the original one and all that. But
nobody does hot oil treatments at home anymore with Alberto.
With Alberto VO5, who Alberto?
Alberto.
We didn't. Hello. No. Wait. We didn't do Alberto VO5 hot oil treatments because instead we had
Mitad de Perales.
Mitad de Perales oil.
That's right.
Treatments.
That is very, very true.
You don't go to Alberto when you could go to Mita.
I love how you didn't even try to say Alberto. You said Alberto. Like, ugh, that guy. Like,
you go to Mita.
Like Alberto. We go to Mirta.
Man, that was such a ritual in my house with my grandmother and Mima. We would all 3 of us, my brother and my cousin, we would all take turns. She would be sitting in the sofa and we'd sit on the floor, like with our back between her legs. Ella con el algodón nos pasaba el aceite letra S de Mitad de Perales. And she'll be like, ya tienes el cráneo limpio y fresco.
I mean, who doesn't like a fresh cranium?
Yeah. And that shit, did you ever get that in your eyes?
No, I never.
Oh my God. Eso era muerte en bicicleta. Got it in your eyes. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. But yes, Latins.
Yes.
Upcycling and recycling
yes, now and
going green before anybody else.
That's true. I do want to tell you a story of something that happened to me last Saturday that I think I sent you the text about it, but I know you don't always read my texts.
No.
So last Saturday went dancing with our friend and a friend of mine she was a former coworker. We went up to Wilton Manors. We started the night off, we had a drink at every bar and then we ended at the dance club, right? Because we're like, okay, let's just end it there and we'll dance or whatever. So, we go, we have we have, go ahead. On Sundays, Hunters does disco night. So, we get there, we take a shot, we get our drinks, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're at the dance floor, it's hot, I take off my shirt.
Of course.
As one does. Then I hear, I feel, and so, they're like blurring like some remix of Lady Gaga or something. And then somebody taps me on my shoulder. Like, I'm dancing, they tap me from behind. And I'm like, oh, whatever. And he's like, excuse me, are you Ish? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, from Pero Let Me Tell You?
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God, I love you guys. I listen every week. You know, oh my God, you guys are hilarious. You know, it's great. And and I was like, man, like in a dark dance floor with my back to someone.
Yeah.
How much must my voice carry that?
Yeah. Well, that's
that he was able to.
Well,
to figure it
that's
out.
sort of how earlier this week we both had in the same week. Earlier this week I called and I told you I was at 7-Eleven.
That's right.
Getting my daily pan de bono,
As one does.
You have your daily bread. I have my daily pan de bono.
It's close.
Right. And I'm there talking to the guy who works at 7-Eleven because he knows me. And the guy behind me was like, "Are you DJ?" And I'm like, "Yes." And guy knew. He's like, "Pero let me tell you." And I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, the voice must have given it away, And he's like, "Yeah, me and my wife, we love you guys. You're awesome. Whatever. And I'm like, "This is great. Here at 7-Eleven." So
Yeah, but I was like, wow, this is like a new level of like being noticed.
Yeah. Listen, I
on a dance floor in the dark.
Yeah.
Like
it was the voice.
It was the voice. It's like, how loud must I have been caterwauling to that, Lady Gaga remix that he heard me and was
really?
like,
It was to a Lady Gaga
I'm
remix?
pretty sure it was because that was the day of her concert. So I'm pretty sure they were playing,
her canceled concert.
Yes, her canceled concert that, you would think that she canceled it because there was a hurricane coming, based on her tears.
Do you know where there is a hurricane going?
Canada.
To Canada. I just read that. Actually, I had heard it before, but
Yeah.
I just read it now. How do Canadians...
I don't know. Like, is Celine prepared?
Yes.
Well, she lives in Florida too, so she would know what
right.
to do.
No, Celine...
Yeah, Celine knows what to do. Yeah.
Right. Hurricanes in Canada.
It's weird. Like, even when there's a hurricane, like, in New York, I'm like, really? Like, I just don't think of, like, above, like, the Carolinas.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, hurricanes go there?
Yeah.
I guess everybody likes poutine.
A Canadian hurricane. Poutine. That's one of those things that I've never quite understood why French fries smothered in gravy and cheese curds has not made it in America. I just don't understand why. That's like, if you don't have to travel to know this, especially now online, you could see it. How I always feel that, like, as the United States, we get the short end of the stick in terms of fast food, because you see all these other countries and
In
like
what way?
their fast food, like McDonald's, all like they have like much better items. Do you know what
Oh,
KFC
yeah,
in Korea has? An entire bucket of their fried chicken skin.
Oh.
Like chicharrone of KFC chicken skin.
I mean, it's going to go right through me, but I'll have it anyway.
Hello. And it comes with like a bunch of different sauces they have like a gravy sauce, like a gravy dipping sauce. It's like, why don't we have that here? Like, why?
I still don't understand why we don't even have like all of the great flavored Kit Kats that they have in Japan.
No, I don't know.
And that's Kit Kat, right? Like, it's something so,
Yeah.
simple. I mean, it's a U.S. quote unquote product, but no.
You know what blew my mind? I've told you this. It really, really blew my mind when I realized, or somebody told me, and it wasn't too long ago. And I know this because I've actually, in Europe, I've ordered it. Mm-hmm. That in the rest of the world, a quarter pounder is a Mac Royal.
Well, yeah, because they don't have pounds.
Because they don't have pounds.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. It's not like you're going to say, like, it's a quarter kilo. Like, and that has a whole other connotation.
No.
Like,
That you only get that on that's the special menu.
Yes.
That's the
But it's
special,
like,
yeah.
They don't take quarter pounder because they don't use pounds.
Well,
They
yeah, that's
use
the
a
whole
metric
that's the whole
system.
thing. That's the whole thing of Pulp Fiction.
What?
The whole interaction between John Travolta and Sam Jackson in the car, where they're like, they call it a Royale with cheese.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That blew my mind. That I was like, oh my God. Like,
This is a thing.
yes, this is a thing. And it is the Mac Royal.
Yeah. And you just didn't stop and
No, I was...
you wouldn't connect it. Why would you?
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, they have much better things. And
Yeah, more options.
yeah. I'll never forget that, like, in Australia, I was in Australia. When I was in Australia in 2012, that was 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It was the year of the Olympics, right, in London. And I remember McDonald's in Australia had like 6 or 7 different burgers that were from previous Olympics. So, like, they had they had a burger that was like lamb and tzatziki sauce, right? Because of Athens. Then they had like another burger. They had like an American burger that was like Atlanta 96. They had like an Asian burger that was like so. I was like, why don't we have that at home? Like, why? But instead, we got the Arch Deluxe back in the 90s.
I'm okay with the Arch Deluxe.
I like the Arch Deluxe, but the Arch Deluxe, you remember, for those listeners that you are of a certain age, maybe you remember the Arch Deluxe from the 90s. It came out in the late 90s. The Arch Deluxe had the quintessential sauce of the 90s, which was?
Honey mustard.
Honey mustard.
Yes.
The 90s was all about honey mustard.
It was.
Everything te metían el honey mustard. Now, I'm not complaining. I like me some honey mustard.
But it was very obvious that was the sauce of the 90s.
You know what also blew my mind? I remember where I was.
When you discovered the sauce of the 90s?
No, when I first had Einstein bagels, honey butter.
Ooh.
Have you ever had their honey butter?
Of course I have.
That's some like
You've seen me
serious
eat. Of course I've
That's
had honey
some
butter.
serious shit. Like honey butter. I mean, come on. Like I remember that I would get like half a bagel and put like, a pound of honey butter on it.
I'm being carb conscious.
Yes.
Is butter a carb?
So
Butter's not a carb.
So, okay, let's move on. Enough about this.
So I wanted to bring something up because we've on this show talked many times about headlines that are a little clickbaity and that are not exactly what they purport to be, or that are misleading, right? And I don't know if it's purposeful or not. So recently, Wired magazine put out an article about monkeypox, and the headline was monkeypox cases in the U.S. are falling.
And they didn't know why?
No one knows why. And rightfully so, several people that I follow on Instagram, gay or gay folk, LGBT focused, profiles, were upset about this because, and they're right, their whole thing was like, hey, and I'm actually going to read this from this, I think it was a tweet from this person called the Kirk Unit. It says, how about LGBTQ plus folks mobilized and demanded help. We didn't sit around waiting for the government to get its shit together. We organized vax events at our bars. We told our friends. Many abstained from sex while waiting to get vaxxed, just like we had to do in the 80s and 90s. And it's true because I would see a lot of people saying like, hey, everybody, vaccines this Thursday at this place in, San Diego, but it was sent from somebody who lives in like Atlanta. There was a lot of mobilization within the community to say like, here's where you can go get it. Here's where it's at. Click here to make the appointment. Talk to this person. There was, it was just, again, this mobilization. And for Wired of all publications, which, isn't,
right, in the article, did they state that?
They went into it, but my problem is
a clickbait.
Is the clickbait of the headline, because
right,
but what I'm saying is, in the article they did say like, the LGBT community has mobilized and blah blah. Well, it's like, but then you do know why.
Oh well, yeah.
Then you do know why.
Right. No, because
don't make it sound like
I did see that post that you said, and I did hear about that, but excuse me, but I didn't read the article, so I thought that. Okay, it would have been fucked up if like that is that's
a full article, right?
The headline, and in the article they talk about it and don't acknowledge what you.
They
just
acknowledged
said.
it, but they still kind of were like, yes, the LGBTQ community has done its part, but I don't know, like, no, you got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, you're talking about a community that was adversely affected for whatever reason, and they took action. Yeah, that's why. That's why the curb has gone down in a matter of like a couple of months, because we didn't stand around with our thumbs up our asses, just waiting for something to see what happens. Last time that happened, we lost an entire generation of people. Not that monkeypox is the same as AIDS.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I'm saying, but the last time we kind of didn't take things into our own hands, and kind of waited to see what would happen, things got worse before they got better.
Yeah, the whole monkeypox thing, I also wonder, and I honestly, I don't know too much about it because, as you know, I've kind of stepped away a little bit from news. I wonder how much of it was legit concern versus hypersensitivity in the post stage of COVID.
I think it's a blend of both. I think it was, oh, fuck, this new thing is coming, right? And because we had just gone through COVID, people are still on high alert about vaxes and things like that. But then I also think that the minute that it became a quote unquote gay thing, now it was just like, okay, well, we're done.
Well, yes and no, because I did see a lot of it still on the news, even when they were saying that a certain percentage of the gay community was being affected by it. That's why I ponder how much, because on the alternative, in the past, historically, when one of these things has happened to certain communities, they kind of brush it under the rug, right? Mm-hmm. But that's why I say that, I wonder how much of this was a legitimate concern coupled with or versus a hypersensitivity of COVID.
What was the percentage breakout of?
Right. Because I legitimately don't know this. Was this ever in pandemic vicinity?
No. It wasn't at that level.
Right.
But again, we're at a point now where any new disease is automatically because front page news, to your point.
Because I remember, people always say about COVID. I remember when we had Zika and when we had
swine flu,
SARS, and all that. And I remember
people got sick, but
I don't remember anybody losing their mind and and a lot of people got sick, right? Or the HRS1,
the swine flu,
that was a swine flu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember people losing their shit. Now, obviously, it was a very different situation.
Yeah, we're also not bombarded 24 hours a day.
If COVID wouldn't have happened, if this monkeypox
would have been
would have been something like those.
Blip.
Obviously it's on the news. We hear about it.
Keep an eye on it, but
right, it's in the news cycle for some time, but not to the extent it was because we're in a post. COVID world.
I mean, there's probably some truth to that. I mean, obviously, at this point, we were all scared about murder hornets during COVID. So,
was that really a thing?
It was. I mean, it was a thing that existed. I don't know how real of a threat it was, but it was a thing.
So I actually wanna, I kind of wanted to mention in today's episode because I'm not gonna say anything that hasn't been said before that a lot of people haven't. Don't agree on, or actually a lot of people disagree on. But me, like everybody else, was watching the 45 days of the coverage of the Queen's funeral. That happened, I feel last decade.
It happened in 2020.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
It happened before COVID.
Before COVID.
I mean, look, I get it. And I was all there for it. I saw all of it. I even at the end of
her funeral was almost as long as her reign.
I every night would so on my Fire Stick TV, I have a Sky News app where I could watch Sky News live. So I'm watching what they're watching in the UK.
Pluto TV has that too.
And I was like, Tristan, hurry up! We gotta go to school. I gotta come back because
I can't miss the coverage.
Yes, I can't miss the coverage. I'd be listening into it on the car. I'd be watching it in the whatever. Anyway, so Meghan Markle.
Yes.
So Meghan Markle went. She did what she needed to do.
Right. I mean, she went with her husband. Right?
Yes. She didn't speak. She didn't.
She was just there.
Right. And you have to see the things that they have written about her. So it's damn if you do and damn if you don't. Right? Because if she would have stayed here,
then ¿por qué no fue?
Right. And then she went and supported her husband. Oh, because why is she there? If she spoke so ill about the
family.
The family. So I fell into a few Instagram rabbit holes. And
never a good thing.
And for example, there was this Instagram account. I'm not even going to say the name of the Instagram account, what for. But it was an Instagram account, and they were, covering Meghan Markle on it. And you have to read, the comments. They put, this Instagram website, which is, a Royal Watcher, account, put, this video of Meghan Markle when she was probably, 10 years old.
Okay.
Right?
So
and in the video,
nothing to do with...
She's pretending to be a queen. right? And
Okay.
she's like, oh, I'm the queen, bring me this, bring me that,
Okay.
whatever. And you have to see the comments. Oh, she was always like, a narcissistic little
She was always
bitch.
bossy.
Oh, yeah, she was always bossy. I'm like, do you realize you're talking about a video from a 10-year-old that is like 30 years
we
old?
We all play pretend at 10.
Like, are adults
Is this where we're at?
really having these conversations and really making these comments?
I'm actually going to say no, because you're assuming there's a conversation being had. So they're not having the conversation. They're posting bullshit.
Yeah, so there was this headline.
I mean, hater or not,
Meghan
or
Markle
lover.
can't win in the UK, and this week proved it. It's like, what do you want? Like, what do you want from her? I understand. This is why I feel that, like, this whole thing with her is so sort of frustrating. And this is why, in a larger aspect, humanity is we're such a stubborn creature, right? That we really don't learn from our mistakes, because Diana they hicieron la vida un yogur, right? They made her life a living hell.
Despite being the people's princess.
And everybody was talking about her, and everybody would say all types of things about her. And let's not forget that Diana released a tell-all book in 1992, 1993, right? And she sat down for several interviews that were not flattering to the royal family. Right? So she did all this, right? Does that sound familiar? And she said the same things on how she wasn't protected, on how they mistreated her. And I think that Diana never said, and neither did Meghan Markle, that it was the queen. It was never the queen. It was the institution.
Right. They never said this bitch.
Right. It was the institution. And honestly, I never thought it would be the queen. But there's a lot of handlers and a lot of people involved in this huge, entity that is the monarchy.
If you thought we had to deal with a lot of people to get our interviews,
yes, right? So this is something that happened with Diana. Diana did a tell-all book. She did sit-down interviews with Martin Bashir. She said all these things, right? She dies. Oh my God, we loved her so much. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This girl, right? I mean, what Meghan Markle said about that whole thing, about them questioning the skin tone of their son, you really don't think that they said that? That they didn't have that conversation? Of course they did. Of course they did. That they were talking about what color was her kid going to be, because there was going to be a biracial, heir to the throne. As
it is, the kid's biracial. Let's not make him too dark.
Yeah. So it's like, you think those conversations weren't happening? So, it's one of those things that, like, I understand that when they did the whole Oprah thing and whatever, could they have stayed quiet?
Yeah.
They could have. And they knew that by them coming forth and saying all the things they said, they knew they were going to get even more scrutiny.
Yeah, they knew what they were inviting.
Right, they knew they were going to get more scrutiny. So in that sense, I can't say that it's like, okay, Meghan and Harry, like, are you surprised? Right. But they did speak their truth, and I believe them. They did speak their truth, and people have a problem with that. Like, people have a problem with people speaking their truth. And
I don't have a problem with her speaking her truth. I just have a problem with to what you kind of were saying earlier, which is like, this wasn't a surprise, my dear. Like, you don't walk into the royal palace thinking, oh, I have all the liberty in the world to do as I please. I mean, I'm sorry, you know what you're walking into, especially because your mother-in-law, essentially burst down that door.
Yes. But you would have, I agree. But you would have thought maybe that now that it's more modern times, and and we allegedly learned from that maybe it would have been a little bit differently.
Of course
not. But it wasn't. And then the problem also is with the people, like, that tienen cogida con ella. Like, there's nothing that she could do. That I've listened to her podcast, and what people say she says and what she actually did say are two completely different things.
That's always the case.
Are two completely different things. And it's just like, I just thought the coverage of her was so unfair. And, on the day of the funeral, I obviously saw it, which was the Monday of this week. I actually spoke to Stephanie about this. I noticed. I didn't think anything of it. She was wearing. Did you see it?
No.
She was wearing, a hat, a black hat, and like a black dress, but the dress had a cape.
Okay.
Right, and like those cape dresses, whatever. When women pull out their arm, like you could see a little bit of their forearm.
Oh yeah.
Right. She got butchered because she was showing forearm.
That whore.
I mean, and they were like, "Look at Kate, the immaculate image of a queen."
Is it protocol? They have to be covered from head to toe. I don't know what.
I don't know if it's protocol, but I mean, she wasn't dressed inappropriately.
No, that's why. But that's what I'm asking.
I know very well that if the other one would have worn the same thing,
the other one could have come in an off the shoulder cocktail gown, and
it's not her fault. It's not.
No, it's not. Right.
But if the other one would have worn the same exact thing, and said, "Look at how elegant and the grace that she has,"
right.
But this one wears it,
right.
It's so it's like just like the day that the four of them were out greeting people and all that they're like, "Oh, she's doing that for the attention." I'm like, really?
The other three are doing it too.
Like, she's doing that for the attention? I mean, that is her husband, who is the grandson of the queen.
If there's one thing these people don't need, it's attention.
So yeah, I just thought I think it's just awful, like the media coverage, and cuando la tienen cogida con alguien, and it's just so it's so kind of terrible that
we keep going around these circles.
We as humans are such stubborn creatures, but whatever.
The cycle never ends.
Yes. Talking about the monarchy has made me thirsty.
As it does, as it's wont to do. So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first with our last soda?
No, you can go first.
All right. So, I am going to give my last soda to, and I'm going to butcher his name, Yvon Chouinard. Do you know who Yvon Chouinard is?
No.
He is the founder of Patagonia.
Oh, Patagonia.
Yes. And recently, him, his spouse, and 2 adult children decided that they are going to give away their ownership in the Patagonia company that he started 50 plus years ago. The company's non-voting stock, worth close to $3 billion, will now be owned by a collective that will use all profits that aren't reinvested into the business to fight climate change. The company expects to contribute about $100 million a year, depending on the health of the business. So, this is someone who Patagonia has always been a brand that's about giving back to the earth and being very eco-conscious.
I think it's so funny you're saying Patagonia, and I'm like, oh, Patagonia.
I know, because when I think of Patagonia, I think of like the place. When I think of Patagonia, I think of the company.
Right.
And you know what? He's putting his money where his mouth is. And again, I know there's a lot of talk nowadays about, toxic capitalism or commercialism and all this and that. But here's somebody who is, it's his company at the end of the day. I mean, he started it. And he's made the decision that, you know what? I don't need it. I don't need the money. I'm good. I'm comfortable. Let's do something worthwhile with it. And so, I'm going to give him my last soda, or maybe last sparkling water. I don't know how health conscious he may be as the owner of Patagonia. For putting his money, literally, where his mouth is.
Good. Very good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So I want to give my last soda to Malala Yousafzai.
Okay.
As we know, she is the young lady that some years ago was shot in the head because she was going to school in. She was shot by the Taliban.
Yeah.
And
is she Pakistani? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was shot by the Taliban, and she spoke at she actually received the Nobel Peace Prize, and she spoke at the United Nations this week, and she
received it now.
The Nobel Peace Prize, yes.
Oh,
or recently.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I would have thought.
And she's continuing the fight for girls to be educated, and she could have just. I mean, she was lucky enough to have survived.
Right. Nobody would have held it against her.
She could have just
gone on with her life,
kept it on the DL,
moved, whatever, called it a
gone. Right. But she's fighting for this cause, and I think so many times when you live in a Western, not even a Western society, you live in just a different society, you forget what other people are not that you forget, but it's not on the forefront of your everyday, everyday issues, that something as basic as an elementary education. There are girls in parts of the world that do not have the right to receive an education, that they're not allowed to go to school. And that's something that it's not only wrong, but it's sort of shocking, and like it shocks you to the core.
Like you can't wrap your head around.
Yes, that girls are not allowed to go to school. And she is working with organizations, and she has her own nonprofit organizations that are doing this to educate girls. And a lot of these girls go to school in hiding. Yeah. So she's doing different things and working with different foundations to facilitate that. So she's somebody that you really want to bring attention to, because she's doing work that, I mean, to say that's an uphill battle is an understatement, because it's not a cause that, unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of governmental support from different governments around the world. It's not
like raising funds where it's like, okay, made the goal, done.
Right. I mean, because then, you have all this money, but then how are you going to implement that? Right. Against such a regime like the Taliban. So my soda goes to her. I mean, just great work what she's doing. So
did you ever read her book?
No, I didn't.
Honestly, it seemed like a book you would have read.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many books that I have to read, but then I end up reading, a book that I've already read again. Just like I end up watching 227.
Comfort food and comfort TV.
Yeah. So anyway, it's so never mind. Because I was like, I like to reread 1984 every couple of years, but the problem with rereading 1984 now is that
I know.
Every time I read it in like 2 or 3 year gaps, like it's like,
it seems a little too close to home.
There's more things that are going on here now.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Remember when this was just like
fiction?
Yeah,
no.
So,
Orwell was clearly a witch.
Anyway, well, everybody, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend.
All right, cuídense, mi gente. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. All right, everybody. It's been a while since we've had this guy on the show. I gotta say, I've missed him, and if I've missed him, I know you guys have missed him. So welcome back, everybody. Tristan! Hello! Welcome back, man. How you been? Good. I know school's started, but I don't want to talk about school.
No.
No. I want to talk about the trip you took over the summer to Punta Cana.
The concert.
Well, okay, actually, you know what? Let's start the day before. Can you tell our listeners who you went to go see in concert?
The Weeknd. It was the best night of my life so far.
So, and that's a fair assessment. That's you've got a lot more nights ahead of you, so that's a very fair assessment.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of the show?
Probably when they sang Less Than Zero, because that was pretty loud, and I liked that.
You liked it because it was loud?
Yes.
Is that your favorite song, or just because it was loud?
Nah, my favorite song is Sacrifice.
Did he did that one too?
Yes.
All right, cool. Mm-hmm. So that was on a Saturday. That was on my birthday.
Yeah, it was on a Saturday.
Yeah, it was on my birthday, August 6th. And so you basically went to your first concert.
Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
So, on that same exact day, August 6th, a new update came out on this game that I play called Find the Markers.
Find the Markers?
Yeah, and before I even went to the concert, I already found like 5 markers.
So, wait, is Find the Markers from like Roblox?
Yes, Roblox.
Okay.
They had an update of 11 new markers.
Okay, you've shown me your markers, and there's some that I don't remember them all now, but there's some that I love.
I haven't drawn all of them yet. I've drawn like maybe 180 or something.
Only? That's a lot, dude. What do you mean only 180?
Okay, like 180 of like 211, I think.
That's almost all of them.
Yeah, 211.
That's almost all of them. You're very close.
I just stopped drawing them for like a month because I need a freaking break from drawing them.
Did you get like carpal tunnel? You don't know what that is?
No.
Carpal tunnel is a pain that you get in your wrist from writing or drawing too much.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Yeah, you got that? So that day you had the release of the what is it called? Find the Markers?
Yeah.
Find the Markers. You had the weekend concert.
You want to know what?
Always.
Okay, so I found the last like 6 markers.
What were they? Because I love the names of these markers.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I found like the last 6 markers, and those like 20 minutes we were packing up to go to Punta Cana.
And thank you, because I was going to ask you. So the next day, you were headed to Punta Cana. So you basically had Saturday was your markers, your concert, and the next day, Punta Cana. That was a pretty damn impressively packed weekend, my friend.
Yes.
All right. That was your first time on a flight, right? It's your first time ever on a plane?
Yeah.
What'd you think? Were you okay with it, or were you a little apprehensive about boarding a flight?
Dominican Republic was so forested.
It was so what?
Forested.
Forested?
It has all these trees.
Really?
It's the nature laws. They let you chop down whatever you want in Haiti, but in Dominican Republic, if you chop down a tree, you are freaking dead. I think. I don't even know.
I don't think you're dead, but you probably get you have to pay a fine, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I don't think of the Dominican Republic as forested. When I think of DR, I think beaches and
I went to Punta
and
Cana.
rum.
I went to Punta Cana. I luckily went to Punta Cana before Hurricane Fiona destroyed it. Ew.
No, it's okay, right? I mean, it's not destroyed.
I said destroyed, not destroyed.
It happens to the best of us. The amount of times that I've said something messed up on this podcast is innumerable. Yes. Yeah. So, when you were there, you went to the Nickelodeon Hotel, right?
No, that was on Wednesday.
Well, but when you were there, when you were in Punta Cana.
Okay.
When
I
you were in
got
Punta
to
Cana.
Punta Cana.
Right.
And then I was in this hotel called Paradises Gran Cana, I think. I don't know.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And I was there for like 6 days, I think.
Mhm.
From Sunday the 7th of August. And
Yep. I think you came back that following Friday.
yeah, I came back on Friday the 12th.
Yep. Yeah. But while you were there, while you were in Punta Cana,
Yes,
you went to
Yes,
the
I went
Nickelodeon
to-
Hotel, right?
Yeah, I went to that on like Wednesday.
Okay, how was
Yeah,
that?
Wednesday. It was good. It was good.
But
It was a little worse than I thought.
oh, it wasn't what
I
you
thought it was gonna be more fun. I mean, me and this guy back here.
You mean your dad who's standing behind you?
Yes.
Because remember, they can't see us; they gotta hear us.
Yes.
That's right. You guys
We
went.
got slimed.
Okay, I'm so jealous of that. You don't even understand how jealous I am that you got slimed.
Gracias.
That's when I was your age, I would have given anything to be slimed.
That's why I was
Really, even your entire family.
Well, maybe not that much.
I was telling you that a lot of parents were more excited than the kids to get slimed.
Right.
Because, the parents were like our age. And I'm like, hello, they grew up
Yeah,
on
they grew up with it. When you say, I don't know, you get
Yeah.
slimed.
Also, can I talk about this new game that is so trending that I love?
Okay,
freaking love?
well, we like to be trending, so what's
It's
the game?
another Roblox door. It's another Roblox game called Doors.
Doors? Okay.
Yes. I won within a week.
So-
but I think people can do better than me.
So I have a question, because I don't know enough about Roblox. Are Doors and Find the Markers?
Yeah.
Are those games inside of the Roblox game?
Yes.
Okay.
It's inside of Roblox.
Okay.
Roblox.
Okay.
Roblox. I just like saying Roblox.
You only have one block, that's why? Roblox, not Roblox.
Okay, so there's this. So it's called Doors for
Okay.
the people who are listening that don't know about it.
That's probably most of the people listening. So
Yeah.
so it's good. You're
So
gonna
it's
explain it to
called-
us.
It's called Doors, and basically it has 100 doors.
100.
And
Damn.
And I'm gonna try and explain it.
Okay.
So the idiot is gonna try and explain it.
You are not an idiot.
I'm not gonna try and explain it that much. So basically, there's 100 doors.
Okay.
And there's tons of monsters.
Okay.
Or entities, I guess.
Mhm.
What a lot of people call them. There's one called Rush. There's one called Ambush. There's one called Screech.
These are all the names of the entities.
Yeah, there's 14.
Okay.
There's 14, but I think like 4 or something of them don't really do anything to you.
So they're just there.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really affect you that much.
Okay, got it.
So there's also this one entity called Seek.
Seek.
Yeah, Seek. You're supposed to run away from him, and he comes only twice.
So why do you have to run away from him?
Because he will kill you.
Okay, that's a very good reason.
Also, there's jump scares in the game.
There's what in the game? Sorry.
Jump scares.
Oh, jump scares. Okay.
Also, this is what the game says.
Mm-hmm.
They suggest that you play the game without like any instructions or something, or like a guide or how to play the game.
So like you just figure it out by yourself.
Yes. And the game, when I started playing it, it was really fun, although I died way too many times. I don't know what. A lot of people have the 100 of many badge, which is where you get 100 deaths.
They give you a badge if you have 100 deaths?
Yes.
That's funny.
I got the badge within like a week or something, and it takes a lot of people to get that, but like in like 1 or something months, like 1 or 2 maybe.
Because you, sir, are an achiever. That's why you got it.
I've only won the game like once. I think it was like 2 days ago, maybe.
Oh, okay, so recent.
Yeah. So back to Seek. He comes from door 30 to 45.
That's a lot of doors that he could pop out of.
No, yeah, he chases you for like less than 10 doors, maybe.
Okay.
And like he's coming because 3 doors behind him are like eyes that keep on popping out. So he comes from door 30 to 45, somewhere around that.
Okay.
And door 80 to 95, somewhere around that.
So, like, just when you think he's gone, he's back again.
No.
But
No.
the first time you play it, because you don't know, because they don't want you to look at the instructions, right?
No, but I look at the instructions anyways.
You look at
Because I didn't know where it said that.
Oh, okay,
But
that's fair.
I found out it said that soon after.
Okay.
So there's like eyes in the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the room behind Seek.
Mm-hmm.
2 rooms behind Seek and 3 rooms behind Seek.
Okay.
And 3, yeah, there's in the game, when the lights like flicker,
Mm-hmm.
and that means that either these entities called Rush or Ambush is coming.
One of the two. You don't know which one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's a way smaller chance that Ambush is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Rush always comes, but he always goes by only once.
Mm-hmm.
But Ambush can go by from 1 to 6 times in like at a time. I mean at once.
Oh, okay,
And-
okay.
Did you say out of time?
No.
At a
I said
time.
Once.
Oh,
At a
Adding.
time.
you know why I said that, right?
Yeah. There's also another entity called Figure. He's blind, but he can hear really well. So you can like crouch.
So you would recommend this game?
Yeah. So yeah, it's really fun.
Awesome.
You can
awesome.
like crouch.
Oh
You
no.
can. Okay, so you can crouch in the game, and like you can crouch wherever Seek is.
Mm-hmm.
Seek is always in doors 50 and 100.
Oh, okay. So he's always there.
So he's in the door that's halfway through 50,
Okay.
and the door that's the last door 100.
Got it. So I'm gonna say this sounds like a really freaking fun game,
What?
but I don't want you to tell our listeners all about it because I want them to go play it. So let's leave. There's an old showbiz saying. You want to hear? You want to hear what the saying is? Always leave them wanting more.
Wait. So,
Which means you stop. You stop. 'cause
When
they're-
Elmo's talking,
'cause they're
you shut your.
intrigued.
When Elmo's talking, you shut your trap. Otherwise, your booty will get a slap.
No,
By the way, I'm Elmo.
I've met Elmo. That's not true.
I'm
All
kidding.
right, I know. But thank you so much for coming by.
Wait.
It's always a pleasure to have you, dude.
I just want to explain a little more about Figure.
But let's save something for next time. Again, you gotta
Okay.
leave them wanting
Okay,
more.
one more thing. So you gotta like crouch,
You got them hooked.
and in the door 50,
Mm-hmm.
like you have to collect books and a note and like you have to unlock the next door with like a lock. I mean, and in door 100, like, you have to, like, do a few things, and then, like, find the key for, like, the door to get the elevator power, and then you have to do, like, a pattern for the elevator power, and then you go to the elevator.
And then don't tell them what comes next.
You win the game.
Dang it! I was gonna say let's end it there so that they're like, "What happens next?" And then then we can bring you back in a couple episodes and they can find out.
So evil.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming by, buddy.
Also, the music when you win the game, that music is actually pretty epic.
Okay. Well,
And also,
check out the music, guys.
in both Seek Chases, the music at first I thought it was really good. I still think it's pretty good, but now I'm so used to listening to it that I don't really find it like, I just find it normal music now.
All right. Well, again, thank you for swinging by, my
That's the
friend.
third time you said that.
I know, but I'm trying to end the interview.
Fine,
You keep going.
Okay,
All right, because almost your bedtime, and I want you to have enough time to go do what you want to do before you got to go to bed. All right. Thank you for swinging by, bud.
Ooh, ooh.